Our guest today on Meet the Press is His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie I, Emperor of Ethiopia. The Emperor is a direct descendant of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, and he rules over the oldest Christian nation in the world. During his reign of more than 30 years, he has been a strong advocate of collective security. His troops served with the United Nations in Korea and the Congo, and he has been in the forefront of the movement for African unity. The Emperor played a leading role in the recent conference of independent African states. The Emperor will speak in Amharic, which will be interpreted for us by Dr. Manasseh Haile. And I will have the first question from Clifton Daniels of the New York Times.
Your Imperial Majesty, last spring, you were the host in Addis Ababa to the conference that formed an Organization of African States. That conference took a very strong stand against the remnants, I would say, of colonialism in Africa. Then on Friday, in your address to the General Assembly of the United Nations, you said we Africans will fight if necessary. Does that mean that you think the United African States should use force to liberate the areas still under non-African control in Africa?
ግርማዊ ጃንሆይ ባለፉት ጥቂት ወራቶች ውስጥ የአፍሪካ ዋኖች መሪዎች በአዲስ አበባ ተሰብስበው ግርማዊነቶም ጋባዦች ነበሩ። ይሄ የአፍሪካ መንግስታት ስብሰባ ስለ ኮሎኒያሊዝም ጉዳይ ጠንካራ ሀሳብ አቅርቧል። ግርማዊነቱ ደግሞ ያለፈው ዓርብ ዕለት ከሰዓት በኋላ ከተባበሩት መንግስታት ማህበር ጠቅላላ ጉባኤ ባቀረቡት ንግግር ውስጥ አስፈላጊ ከሆነ አፍሪካ ነጻነት ማውጣት ምናልባት ኃይል ጎዳና እንከተል ይሆናል ብሎ ተናግሯል። አሁን አፍሪካን በእውነት ሙሉ ነጻ ለማድረግ ግርማዊነቱ በኃይል አስፈላጊ ነው ብለው ያምናሉ ወይ?
እንደምታውቁት ሰላም ዓለም ሁሉ የሚጥርበት ጉዳይ ነው። ይህ ሰላም እንዲጠፋ ይልቁንም ትንሾች መንግስቶች ከኛ ጀምሮ አይፈልጉም። የአፍሪካን አንድነት ግን በመልካም ተመስርቷል። ለዚህም ምሳሌ የምንወስደው ስለ አፍሪካ አንድነት የአሜሪካን ህዝብ ምሳሌ ነው። በዚህ አኳኋን አፍሪካን ነጻ ለቅ ያሉትን መንግስቶች ለመዋጋት ሁለት አይነት መንገድ አለ። ምናልባት በሰላም ይፈጸማል፣ ግን መመከት ደግሞ እንዳለበት ታውቁታላችሁና የመዋጋት ትርጓሜው ሁለት ነው።
In answer to that question, I would say that, as you know, peace has been the objective of the entire mankind, and I may say particularly so of small countries today. We have and we are confident that we have laid down the foundation of African unity at the recent conference that was held in May in our capital Addis Ababa. Now, for the purpose of bringing African unity, our United States represents a good example for us. Now, for this question of liberation of African countries by use of force is our fervent desire and wish that situations will not come to this desperate stage. But however, as I stated yesterday, if there is no recourse for liberation of people under the yoke of imperialism, certainly that may be an alternative which African states would have to consider for the benefit of the continent of Africa.
In the meantime, sir, are the African states providing arms and other assistance to those forces that are fighting against existing regimes in Africa?
ግርማዊ ጃንሆይ ይሄ ከመሆኑ በፊት ግን ለነጻነታቸው በአፍሪካ ውስጥ በልዩ ልዩ ቦታ ለሚታገሉ ሰዎች የአፍሪካ ሀገሮች የጦር መሳሪያና ሌላውን መከላከያ ነገር ያቀብሏቸዋል ወይ?
መጨረሻውን ሰላም ከተፈለገ የጦር መሳሪያ ሀብት ወደ ሰላም እንዲዞር ዋና ምኞታችን ነው። ምናልባት ይህንን የሚደረግም እንደሆነ እኛ የሚያቀብሉት ሰዎች የሚሰጡት ሀሳብ ከነሱ ሊጠየቅ የሚገባ ነው። መቀበል ግን ማንም የሚጠላው የለም።
I would like to say that all on the general question, I hope that all material, energy and resources that are wasted for the purposes of arms race would cease to be so and would be converted for the purpose of peaceful advancement of mankind. But insofar as passing on arms to freedom fighters throughout Africa, perhaps the best first people to ask are those that have been considered to have passed such arms. But insofar as the recipient, freedom country, freedom-loving freedom fighters are concerned, we understand their motives and it's legitimate.
Sir, as a great supporter of the United Nations, would you think that the United Nations might intervene in Africa and resolve this problem?
ማሪጃን ሆይ የተባበሩት መንግስታት ማህበርን ዋናው ደጋፊዎች ከሆኑ ታላላቅ ሰዎች ግርማዊነቱ አንዱ ናቸው። ለአፍሪካ ፕሮብሌም እንደና ዘዴ ለማምጣት የተባበሩት መንግስታት ማህበር በጉዳዩ በሙሉ የሚገባ ይመስሎታል ወይ?
የተባበሩት መንግስታት በጉዳዩ እንዲገባ በግድ ያስፈልጋል። የሚገባበት ምክንያት የተባበሩት መንግስት ሰላም እንዲጸና መሰረቱ በመሆኑ የተለያየ ሀሳብ እንዲኖርበት መጨረሻውን ዩናይትድ ኔሽንስ የሚገባበት ነገር ነው ብለን እናስባለን።
Yes, I believe it's imperative that the United Nations come into the picture for solving this important African problem. The reason being that the United Nations, by its own charter, is committed to the preservation of international peace and security, and since African situation is directly relevant to this important task of the United Nations, the United Nations must come in to solve it. There might be difference of opinions in the organization itself, but the resultant effect of the feeling of the United Nations is no doubt in my mind is to help African countries to achieve their independence, and also my desire and hope is in accordance to the statements I've just made.
We'll be back with Meet the Press and more questions for our guests. Our guest today is His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie I, Emperor of Ethiopia. You've just met Clifton Daniel of the New York Times. Our other reporters are Norman Cousins of the Saturday Review, Milt Freudenheim of the Chicago Daily News, and Pauline Frederick of NBC News. Ned Brooks will be back with us next week. We'll continue the questions now with Mr. Cousins.
Your Majesty, generally, when heads of state take on other jobs in government, they take on a portfolios, let us say, of the foreign minister or the minister of defense. But the one big job you have taken on, in addition to your regular job, is the job of Chancellor of the University. Would you tell us why you have taken on this particular assignment?
ብዙ ጊዜ የመንግስታት ዋናዎች መሪዎች እንደ ጃንሆይ ያሉ በመንግስት አስተዳደር ውስጥ የቀጥታ ኃላፊነት የፈለጉ እንደሆነ የውጭ ጉዳይ ሚኒስትርነትን ወይም የመከላከያ ሚኒስትርነትን ይወስዳሉ። ግርማዊ ጃንሆይ ግን ይህን ሳያደርጉ የዩኒቨርሲቲው ቻንሰለር መሆኑን መረጡ። በምን ምክንያት ነው ይህንን ያደረጉት?
ዋናው ምክንያት ግልጽ ነው። ለሀገራችን ትምህርት በጣም ጠቃሚ ነው። በሀገራችንም ትምህርት ቢኖር ተቋርጦ የነበረውን እንደገና ማደስ አስፈላጊ ስለሆነ ከጠላት ወረራ በኋላ እንደተመለስን የትምህርት ሚኒስቴር ወሰድን። ስለዚህ አሁንም ደግሞ በዚያው በመሰረት ነው ለመቀጠል የዩኒቨርሲቲ ቻንሰለር መሆንን መረጥን። ይህም ዞሮ ዞሮ ለኢትዮጵያ ለሀገራችን የትምህርትን ጠቃሚነት አስፈላጊነቱን ስለተረዳ
In answer to that question, I would say that the main reasons why I took this action is actually quite obvious. Education is the most useful thing to our country and indeed to all mankind. During the war, the educational process of Ethiopia was discontinued, but subsequently after the war, we took up where we started from and we had to quicken our pace in order to compensate for lost time of enemy occupation. As soon as our liberty was restored to us, I actually took the portfolio of Ministry of Education. Now, I am happy to say, I have become the Chancellor of the University. Education being a useful thing for our country, I see no greater thing to which I dedicate myself, and I also say with happiness that it is along this field that I lay down what I consider to be one of my successful records.
ታላቅ መሆኑ የታወቀ ነው። በጦር አለቅነታችን ብቻና በትምህርት ሚኒስቴር ለመስራት ያስገደደን ይልቁንም በጠላት ጊዜ የተማሩ ልጆቻችን ብዙ ጠፍተውብን ነበርና ለመተካት
Foreign affairs, particularly nowadays, is a very important thing for the development of countries and for peace and stability. But despite this, we chose to take the portfolio after the war and our liberation of defense and Ministry of Education. The reason really we have done so is because we lost so many fine young men, people that served their country during the war, and we have to take this measure to quicken the pace of education so that Ethiopia again will be put right on the correct road.
Majesty, do you believe that aid in education from the United States or from the United Nations would be useful to your country and perhaps to Africa in general in its general development?
ግርማዊ ጃንሆይ ለትምህርት ጉዳይ ከተባበሩት መንግስታት ማህበር ሆነ ወይም ከአሜሪካ መንግስት እርዳታ ለትምህርት ማግኘት ለኢትዮጵያና ደግሞም ለሌሎች አፍሪካ ሀገሮች ጠቃሚ መስሎ ይታያል ወይ?
ከአሁንም በፊት የአሜሪካን መንግስት ረድቶናል ለትምህርት ጉዳይ፣ ግን በቂ ነው ለማለት አይቻልም። መጨመሪያ ያስፈልጋል። ከአሜሪካን መንግስት በቀርም ከሌሎች መንግስቶች ሁሉ በየአይነቱ ስለ ትምህርት ነገር እርዳታ አግኝተናል። ይህም በቂ ሊሆን አይችልምና ወደፊት በቂ ሲሆን ድረስ እርዳታ ያስፈልጋል።
The government of the United States of America has been quite generous to us in matter of education, and they have given us help of which we are very appreciative, but we cannot say here that the aid we have gotten from this source, the United States, United Nations, and other international organizations are actually sufficient. The task of education is immense one. It's a matter that takes a great deal of financing to solve. We hope that Ethiopia, as well as other undeveloped countries, will continue to get the assistance of the developed countries.
Mr. Freudenheim.
Majesty, at the United Nations, you expressed dismay at the treatment of American Negroes in some parts of our country. At the same time, you praised President Kennedy's civil rights program and actions. You feel, sir, that African leaders and African peoples are being turned against the USA by the news they read of our racial troubles?
ለተባበሩት መንግስታት ማህበር ጠቅላላው ጉባኤ ባሰሙት ንግግር ውስጥ በአሜሪካ ሀገር የዘር ልዩነትና ድሎት በመኖሩ ግርማዊነቶ ቅር እንዳለው አስረድተዋል። ከዚሁ ጋር ደግሞ አያይዘው የፕሬዝዳንት ኬኔዲና የአሁኑ የአሜሪካ አስተዳዳሪዎች ይህንን ፕሮብሌም ከአሜሪካ ፊት ለማስወገድ በወሰዱት እርምጃ መደሰቱንም ገልጸዋል። ይህንን እንግዲህ ስንል በአፍሪካ በአሜሪካ ሀገር የዘር ልዩነትና ድሎት በመኖሩ ምክንያት የአሜሪካ መንግስትና ህዝብ በአፍሪካኖች አይን የተሳታና የሚሳታ ይመስላል።
ይህ ጉዳይ በጣም ትልቅ ነገር መሆኑ ስለተሰማን ፕሬዝዳንት ኬኔዲም ስለዚህ ለአፍሪካ በአሜሪካን ስለሚኖሩ ያደረጉትን ንግግራችን ገልጸናል። አሁንም ይህ ነገር እንደ ኢንተርናሽናል ጉዳይ የሚታይ ነገር ስለሆነ ኢንተርናሽናል ጭምር ያስብበታል ብለን ተስፋ አለን። የሰው ዘር ለመለየት ከህግ የወጣ ነገር መሆኑን ራሳችሁም የምታውቁት ነውና በዚህ የማይስማማበት ሰው ይገኛል ማለት
In answer to that question, I would say this problem under consideration now is of the highest importance. As you have just observed, in posing the question. I have spoken with deep concern about this problem, and also I expressed pleasure at the actions that the federal government has taken and proposed to take in order to solve this evil problem. This matter of racial discord and discrimination is really an international matter, and perhaps in the future it will increasingly become so than it is now. Discrimination, gentlemen, violates fundamental human rights. It violates the God of law, the laws of God, and also the laws of man.
Your Majesty, a racial issue, anti-white theme has been used in Africa by Communist China in its propaganda as an effort to turn Africans against Europeans, against America, and also the Chinese would like to turn Africa against the Soviet Union, I think. What effect do you see from this? Is Red China's prestige and influence growing?
ይሄ ልዩ ልዩ አገሮች የሚገኘው የዘር ልዩነት ጉዳይ መሰረት በማድረግ ቻይኒዞች ቀለማቸው ጥቁር የሆነውን ሰዎች ከፈረንጆች ለመለየትና ለማጣላት ሰፊ ፕሮፓጋንዳ ይዘዋል። ይህም ብቻ ሳይሆን መስኮብንም ከአፍሪካኖች ጋር ለማጣላት ይህንኑ መሳሪያ ለማድረግ ጀምረዋል። የቻይና ኢንፍሉዌንስ በዚህ ረገድ በአፍሪካ ውስጥ እየበዛና እያየለን መስሎታል ወይ?
ይህ ምስል ለዓለም ላይ ላለው ጉዳይ በጣም ከፍ ያለ ፕሮብሌም ነገር ግን ምስራቆችም ወገን ከምዕራቦችም ወገን ቢሆን እርዳታ ለመፈለግ ግዴታ የሚሆንበት ምክንያት ዓለም እየተፋጠነ ወደ አዲሱ ስልጣኔ ለመሄድ የሁሉ መንፈስ የሚያስብበት በመሆኑ ነው። የመስኮብን ወደፊት የቻይናን ወደፊት እንደገና ትላቅነት ምስል ጊዜ የሚፈርደው ነገር ነው። ምናልባት ሊሆንም ላይሆንም ይችል ይሆናል። ቢሆንም እንደዚህ ያለውን አይነት ማናቸውም በኩል ቢሆን በፍቅር መሳብ አሸናፊ ነው ይመስላል።
In answer to that question, I would say again reiterate the importance that this problem of racial discrimination occupies in my mind. I believe both the eastern countries and the western countries will actually collaborate to remove this problem, which is a scourge of mankind, to be found in different places of the world, because we all are interested and dedicated to the advancement of the world, its standard of living, and also the maintenance of peace. And this is one of the conditions precedent for the attainment of this noble human objective. Now, about Chinese influence that I've been asked about, I'll only say that to what extent Chinese will succeed in increasing their influence throughout Africa and other countries in which colored people live remains to be seen. Whatever I may say here will only be some speculation. But, however, I can state categorically that the question of using love, human brotherliness, is the most important means of influencing human beings.
Mr. Frederick.
Your Majesty, in view of the African drive against colonialism and South African racism, what is the place the white man will have in Africa? Does he have any choice between leaving or accepting domination by the black man?
Azerbaijan ሆይ በአፍሪካ ውስጥ አሁን ኮሎኒያሊዝምን የመቃወም የዘር ልዩነትን የመቃወም መንፈስ እያየለና እየተመሰረ መሄድ ይዟል። በዚህ አይነት ሁኔታ ነጮች በአፍሪካ ውስጥ ምን እድል አላቸው? በሰላም እዛ ለመኖር ይችላሉ ወይስ በአፍሪካኖች መገዛት የሚጀምሩበት ሁኔታ ይፈጠራል?
የአፍሪካ አንድነት ቻርት ሳይፈረም በተናገርነው ለአፍሪካዎች መሪዎች ገልጠናል። እዚህ ቀደም ኮሎኒያሊስቶች የነበሩት ሁሉ ለኮሎኒ ክፉም ቢያደርጉ መልካም አድርገዋልና ተስማምቶ መኖር አስፈላጊ ነው። አለዚያ ግን ኮኤግዚስተንስ የተባለው ይፈርሳል። ስለዚህ ትተው የሄዱትንም ደውለታ በመቁጠር ስምምነት እንዲኖር ጠይቀናል። ይህም ይፈጸማል ብለን ተስፋ እናደርጋለን። ነጭና ጥቁር የተባለው መንፈስ እንዲፋቅ ምኞታችን ነው። አንድ ነው። የሰው ፍጥረት ሁሉ በአገር ብቻ ተለይቷል ማለት ይቻላል።
I would say that at the conference of heads of African states that was held last May in the capital city of Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, before the signing of the charter, I have told in the speech I have made to the distinguished heads of state that people that were formerly under colonialist regime and who have suffered a great deal must have the generous spirit of wanting to collaborate with their former masters, for otherwise through vengeance and remorse coexistence would not be possible, and this would be detrimental to the preservation of international peace. I must say that black and white as forms of speech, as means of judging mankind, should be eliminated from human society. Human beings are precisely the same of whatever color, race, or creed or national origin they may be.
Your Majesty, in the 16th year of the League of Nations, you accurately prophesied its fate. The United Nations is in its 18th year. What do you see for its future and why?
ግርማዊ ጃንሆይ የጥንቱ የጄኔቫ ማህበር በተቋቋመ በ16ኛው ዓመት ግርማዊ ጃንሆይ እዚህ የጄኔቫ ማህበር ፊት ቀርበው የዚህ ማህበር የወደፊት እድል ምን እንደሆነ እውነተኛው ነገር ተናግረው በኋላም ግርማዊነት ያለው ነገር ደረሰ። አሁን የተባበሩት መንግስታት ማህበር በ18ኛው ዓመት ነው። ለተባበሩት መንግስታት ማህበር የወደፊት እድል ምን አስተያየት ያቀርቡ ይችላሉ?
ባለፈው ጊዜ ስንናገርና አሁን ስንናገር ልዩነት ነገር አለ። ማንም ዓለም ቢሆን ሰላምን ፈላጊ ነው፣ አንዱም ያለን። ለዚህ ለሰላም ስራ ዩናይትድ ኔሽን ካሁን ድረስ ከዚህ ከተቋቋመ ወዲህ ከዚያ ወዲህ ብዙ ነገር ሰርቷል። ወደፊት ይሰራል ብለን ተስፋ እናደርጋለን። ስለዚህ ለሚመጣው የምንመኘው ዓለም ሰላምን ነው። በዚያም ሀገር የሚመጣው ይህ ይዘን
In answer to that question, I would say there is quite a difference in the political circumstances that prevailed at the time I made my speech at the League of Nations and the present time, the speech I made to the United Nations. Now, a question of war or peace is the most urgent matter, and the posing of such a question itself is actually to pose whether mankind will survive or not, because of the gravity of the disturbance of peace. At the present time, the United Nations has got to strengthen itself to achieve and protect the universal peace. My sincere hope on my part is the organization, my sincere belief is that the organization so far has achieved many things for the purpose, for the cause of peace, and in the future I am hopeful and confident it will continue to expand its activities and strengthen itself so that international peace and security will not even be threatened once.
Thank you very much, Your Majesty, for being with us, and our thanks to our interpreter, Dr. Manasseh.